Hey, it's been a long time coming. Patsy Roach. You see it scrolling across the screen, online dating with Patsy. Now, Patsy, you have been reaching out to me for a long time.
I'm a pest.
No, you know what? I have to tell you, everything happens for a reason, and timing is everything. And honestly, I've always wanted to talk to you, because what you do is amazing. But the biggest thing I have to say is you're very empowering because you are very you're passionate. And you just keep working and working and working at it, and you're getting somewhere with it. In fact, you're getting somewhere really big. So talk about, in one or two sentences, what do you do? And then we'll go more deeply into it.
Sure. I have a blog that I've had for 6 years, and then I've been podcasting for 2 years. And it's all my stories and actual screenshots and recorded conversations with online romance scammers.
Mm,
And it's not just dating sites, it's all social media. Right now, most of mine come from Instagram. So,
interesting.
yeah, so I try to show women and men, there are men who do get scammed, how
Hmm.
not to fall for them, and I give them all the tips. And if you listen to my audio recordings, you will hear me interact with them. I play a character a lot of times. I
Hmm.
go by the name of Suzanne, which is Suzanne Sugarbaker from Designing Women.
Oh, I love that
Huge
show.
huge fan of that show. And so I go by Suzanne. So I don't go by Patsy at all. And then the
Hmm.
picture I have on my profile is an older one, from probably, I don't know how many years ago. I was a little thinner and I had short brown hair. I started
Hmm.
the pink in 2020. So, I mean, it's my actual pictures that I do use. I just don't use my name.
So let's start from the very beginning. Let's start at the very beginning. Sorry.
I was thinking
So
the same thing.
yeah, isn't that funny? So I want to know, when did you, what was that made you want to do this? Obviously, something happened to you.
Well,
Was it the
well,
first
first
time
off,
out?
yeah, well, first off, I never sent anybody money. I'm
Okay,
very
good.
suspicious of people. No, it was in 2016. I was sitting in church, and on the back of the church bulletin, I'm Catholic, and they had an ad for CatholicMatch.com.
Mhm,
Now, not looking for anybody, still not looking for anybody, but it was curiosity. Now,
mhm,
nothing happened there, but I was telling a coworker about it, and they're like, "Oh, you should try Match.com." And I'm
mhm,
like, "Oh, okay." So I set up an account with Match.com, and right away, I got an email from a guy, who said he was in the army on a peacekeeping mission. Name that country is always my response. Um,
mm.
and it was just all the sweet talk and how beautiful you are. And I mean, I know I am, but
You are.
but it's like, it was just a lot of sweet talk, and they're looking for, um, someone to spend the rest of their life with. They're always retiring in a few months. They'll move anywhere you are. And we shared a couple emails. Now, my emails were pretty short, but
Mhm,
I just thought it was weird. So a couple days later, I'm at work and I show the picture to my coworker. And she goes, "Did he say he was in the military?" And I go, "Yeah. And she goes, "He's a scammer." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Um, and she's like, told me the whole deal about romance scammers. I knew nothing. I've
right.
learned a lot, but I knew nothing. And so I'm like, "Oh my God." So that night when I came home, I Googled the picture, and sure enough, it came up scammer. So I went, sent him an email, and just said, "Don't ever contact me again. I saw a picture where it says you're a scammer, blah, blah." And then I blocked him. And I was a little freaked out. Now it's nothing. But back then I was just like, "Oh my God, is he going to find me?" They're not going to find you. They're over in Nigeria and Ghana
Mm,
and over that way. So this started to become a regular thing. I tried Our Time. And then the big one is Plenty of Fish, which I call
that's a bad
Plenty of
one, yeah.
Fakes. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it was just guy after guy. Some of the same guys' pictures would be used over and over on me. Then I had a Suzanne Twitter account, and
Mhm,
they were there. And then I still have the Suzanne Instagram account. And how it works on Instagram is they'll follow me, and then I'll follow them back. And within a minute or two, I get a message from them. "Hi, pretty.
mm.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
lovely lady," stuff like that.
Mhm,
And then it's just gone from there, you know.
First off, Match.com, I've not been on that one, and that was one you think it's reputable. And let me also say, and I will tell you, I've had experiences, and this is, I'm off of online dating, but my brother, John, met his, first wife. She passed from breast cancer a few years back. In fact, his second wife, I'm sorry. After his wife passed, he met her on, eHarmony or whatever that Harmony. Great
That's the
match.
one that's more expensive, and that's
It's
where
more,
you
and he
would
paid the
think.
money.
Yeah,
Right. So, and I'm not saying there's not scammers, but I wanna
yeah.
tell you that the positives first.
Yeah.
My cousin Catherine went on JDate because she wanted to meet a Jewish man, and our, Jewish side of the family. Why not? She met him, married him. Um, and I think there was one other and another friend of mine who met somebody on, of all places, and she married him. Tinder. Oh, my daughter's husband. They met on Tinder. They've been together for years. So I know. And she met him young. I was actually very upset when I found out because he's 11 years older, but they ended up getting married. So there are positive things to it. Now, what I'll tell you happened to me in a real short thing was about a year ago, it was a little over a year ago. My son, who's now in Boston in college, was visiting, and it was Christmas time. He goes, "Mom, you really should meet somebody." I go, Honey, where am I going to meet somebody? I'm going to set you up. And I said, "Oh, okay." Well, I didn't know anything. I mean, Patsy, I told him, I said, "Just pick out pictures that look like me, right? I'm in media. What am I thinking, right? I don't know. I'm just innocently doing this." So he sets me up on Hinge. And I would meet somebody at a place. I wouldn't give them my number. I had burner numbers. I have like 5 burner phone numbers, and they're worth the money. Um, and everything, was I just would meet somebody once, and then I would just burn them and not talk to them again, whatever. And then I did actually meet somebody, and we off and on dated for a year, but he turned out to be the biggest not scammer, he just liar. And you know how I found out? He, apparently, according to him, it was a situationship. You've heard of that new word. And, and we had this whole big thing, but I was going to a show, and a mutual friend of mine were talking, and she goes, "Hey, I want to ask you a question. One of my friends has gone on a second date with this guy." And she goes, "I mean, he's Hungarian. How many are on there online?" And I go, really? Did she send you a picture?" So she showed me the picture. I go, "Huh." So I texted him and said, "Tomorrow night we're supposed to go out. Yeah, why don't you ask?" And I said the girl's name. I won't say it on here.
Yeah.
And and then he didn't answer. And I said, "Okay, so you're gonna be a coward and not text me back and just ghost? Go for it. Be a coward." And then he texted me back, and he's saying, "It's you had it wrong. We were never, da, da, da. I could never live with you." And I go, so it's not just scammers, it's dishonest jerks that are on there. And so, my therapist says to me, "What are you thinking? It's worth the money to pay a matchmaker. It might be a couple grand, but why are you, especially you're in media?" I didn't know. So that was my story. And I'm such a fool. I was a fool that I ever believed for a second. You said you want a relationship, and he goes, "Well, yeah, but we can't live together. There can only be 2 weirdos living together." And I'm like, you know, so I mean, yeah.
Well,
And
I
yeah.
2 of my podcast episodes, in my first year were people who actually did meet their spouses online, and it was a
Mhm.
I tell everybody it works, you just gotta be careful.
Right.
Now you talk about your story, my last podcast episode, which I encourage everybody to listen to. We'll listen to
Mhm.
them all, but that one
And
in
you can get them,
particular.
by the way, if you look below, online dating
Yeah.
with Patsy.com. You'll have all the
Yeah,
links there.
I have a info on my blog, where you can find my podcast. Well, I've been on TikTok's, my TikTok has really blown up since February.
Good.
I started uploading audio conversations, proper hashtagging, I learned about that, and I do lives about 3 times a week.
Mhm.
I went from, like, 1,200 followers to almost 7,000
That's
in the last
fantastic.
I it blows my I have one video that hit over 40,000 views.
Wow.
My head's exploding, and my
Right.
daughter's, laughing at me. And but anyway, this was a lady I met on there, and she called. We talked on the phone for a while, and she wanted to tell me her story. And so it's and she did my eventually she did my podcast. But basically she was living in Texas, met this guy through online dating. He seemed perfect. He got a job, and he everything was perfect. And then she had to move to one of the Carolinas because her mother has dementia. And he's like, I'll go there with you. And grandmom lives in the middle of nowhere,
Mm.
and it got bad. It got very bad.
That's
She's fine.
scary.
She's met someone new. The first thing
Good.
she said to the new guy is, "Let's go get fingerprinted at the police station." And he said,
Yes.
"Sure." But
Yeah.
I please listen to it, because this guy, she found this box that had all these different IDs. It turned out he had actually spent time in jail for uh murder.
Oh my
Um
god.
Yeah, and, to get help in some states just don't have big domestic abuse laws. And she
Wow.
had talked to a police officer, and he goes, "Well, the best we could do is hold him for 48 hours, but then we have to release him."
Right.
So, but you can listen it from her story, her point of view. It has a happy ending for her, but it's a very scary story,
It's very
which
scary. I mean, I did put on my, on when I did Hinge, I said, "Can you add on there to when," because my son set it up, and I said, "Just add on there because this is true. I will look you up on CaseNet."
oh,
You know?
yeah.
And so at least and I knew I was getting at least some of them weren't as bad. And I did have, guys, they were nice guys on first dates. It just they weren't for me. And my first one was, ooh, that was not good. And so I kind of just and they cuss at you and all that other stuff. It's like, I'm sorry. I don't like you. What are you gonna do? So but yeah, I mean what does somebody, other than there is no place. I mean, my son was saying you've been divorced for gosh, 10 years, I think. And during the pandemic, of course, you don't have a way to meet somebody.
Yeah.
Me doing what I do, eh, you know, I've got 100 emails every day, a guy going, "Hey," and then I gotta, there's the listeners, and they could be wonderful, but I don't know. There's the listeners asking me out, and then I've got the scammers on Instagram and on Facebook, TikTok, and it's like, where does somebody? And I can't tell you how many times people say to me, "I look at you. Why are you single?" Yeah, yeah. You tell me, where do I
Yeah.
meet somebody? And so, I mean, that's kind of where it's at. And I've heard that way more from women than men. And I actually said to this guy after it was all said and done, I go, "You do realize that no matter who you are to me, I was the best." And because I know it. I mean, that sounds unhumble,
Right.
but I
No,
know I'm
no, you're
smart, I'm
right.
successful, I don't need for money, and I think I'm okay looking, I try to keep myself up. So, and he just kind of agreed. I'm like, "You screwed up." So, and I mean, wouldn't go back to somebody like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, where does somebody meet? Are there any good online dating sites?
I don't know. I just, I get asked that a lot. I get asked a lot of questions from the ladies on TikTok. And
Mhm.
I go, try online dating, but just be very careful. And, just there's a wonderful website, and I had them on my podcast in December. It's called Advocating Against Romance Scammers. And
Ooh.
they have some really great, it's a great card where they have all this information, like stories scammers use, how to spot a fake account, red flags, and how to
Mhm.
stay safe online.
I love it.
They're advocating against, wait, it's advocating for FOR and the letter U.com.
Okay.
How they started this was the lady on there, a friend got scammed, and it turned out he there was someone using an army guy picture. Kathy tracked the guy down. And he's like, this has been going on for years. People using because he's retired colonel, and people have been
Wow.
using his pictures for years. So I
Wow.
send everybody to their site. And I have in my TikToks, I have signs, and one guy goes, "Someone thinks your signs are stupid." I go, "Well, tell them don't come on." I mean,
Exactly.
everybody else likes my signs because I'll have people say, "Hey, hold up that sign with your contact information," and they'll screenshot it so they can email
I
me.
love
And
a little old school stuff going on like that.
oh, I got like a stack like this.
Oh, I love this. What I would love to do is we should do a TikTok parody of because some of the things on TikTok, the guys that
They're
are all good
hilarious.
looking, they're going, ladies, this is what you know. A real man wouldn't do this. And I'm thinking, you do realize that all he's doing this for is to get followers. I mean, he's not
Yes.
scamming you, but still, it's just dumb. And
Yeah.
I've liked him before, and then I went, wait a second, what am I doing? They're all doing it. It's almost like the beauty tutorials, except there's some handsome guy telling me what I should and shouldn't want as a woman. Like I don't know this.
Yeah. Well,
And
I
they're not
actually
real.
yeah, I actually joined TikTok 2 years ago, but it just started to really kick in this February. But I noticed when I first started and guys would follow me, and I'm like, "I recognize that guy. I recognize that picture," because I have a database where I've collected, like, all the pictures the
And
last
that was
couple
a
years.
question. So that was a
Yeah.
question I have because I wanted to start, and I didn't know if you could do something like this because I thought, can you do a private Facebook group, right? That's area specific and it's just between us girls.
Oh, that's a good
And
idea.
somebody can say, hey, this is who I went out with. You can go out with him if you want, but this is what I dealt with him.
I
Because
love
especially in
it.
an area like this, it's big, but it's small.
Yeah.
Do you think we could do that?
I'm in.
I am
Yeah,
too.
I think it would be a great idea, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's what
Let's
I
share.
tell all the ladies that, and we have one guy, his name's Wayne, he's hilarious, and he's part of who every time I'm on live, he comes on, and I'm always like, "Hey, ladies and Wayne," and, he's just a wonderful guy. I'm trying to connect with him because he was scammed, and I wanna get him on my podcast. But,
Mhm.
that's what I always say. I go, "Look, we're here for each other."
I love
You
that.
are in a safe space. And
Mhm.
I have women, right now, I'm gonna write a book.
Good for
I've been
you.
starting here and there, and then I stopped, and a couple weeks ago, I was on TikTok talking, I wanna write a book about everything that I've learned and all this stuff, but I'm not sure what direction I wanna take it in.
Mhm.
One of my TikTok friends, Rindy, goes, "I got a great idea. You should collect women's stories, who were actually scammed."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Oh my god, that's a great idea." So I did a
Mhm.
video on there about it. So far, I've gotten 7 stories.
That's
I
fantastic.
have other ladies I don't have a deadline yet. I have other ladies who are like, "I'm working on it now." Um, some are, like, afraid because they're afraid they'll get found by the scammer or something,
Right.
so I don't pressure them, and I always tell them, "Give me a fake name.
Right.
Don't use your real name and just kinda let me know what country you're in because this is worldwide." I have ladies on Australia and Germany and United Kingdom and Finland. I have one lady from Finland who sent me her story, and it was hard to, because her English wasn't good, so I'm, like, trying to that's what I worked on last week when my Wi-Fi was out. I was going through the stories to do grammatic corrections and punctuation and all that stuff. But, which I will probably do, like, as an ebook on Amazon, because I
I
think
was
that's
going to
the
ask
cheapest way.
if you I will volunteer to be the announcer if you need it. Hi, this
Sweet.
is online dating with Patsy, the real stories.
Yes.
I really would. I would love to do
Oh,
that.
yeah, but, I
I just
mean,
want to be
all
a
these
part of it. What that's
oh,
such a because it's so important.
you're my new best friend, so
Aw. Well,
but
and
no,
again, I've always wanted to talk with you for all these years, especially
I know
being
I send you
single.
guys stuff all the time and
Yeah.
emails and Christmas cards.
And it just so happened, I just went, I finally have time, which,
Yeah,
I never usually do. And this is, and because of what just happened. And I
yeah,
thought, you know what? And again, I wasn't scammed, maybe emotionally,
yeah,
but again, I think that it's being together with women that have been through there, and men, mostly
yeah,
women, and
yeah.
having each other's backs.
That's what my TikTok has turned into. I mean, I get emails and questions every day, can you see what you can find out with this picture? I have
Mm.
the Reversi app on my phone, and
Mhm.
then the advocating page did a TikTok video on a place called The Dark Night, where it can search a picture even better than the Reversi app, can show you pictures that probably is him, could be him, the percentage of if this is the guy or not. And I have ladies on there, I hold my sign up for the web address. It's also on my blog. But I hold it up and they're like, "Oh man, this is great. This is great." I mean, I learned from them. Besides them, I get a lot of messages. Gosh, I wish I would have found you months ago. I was
Yeah.
scammed, and I tell every one of them, just you went through this. It's over. Don't beat yourself up about it. Move on and show others and share what you've learned so that they don't fall for it. And you're awesome. Don't let it
I
tear you
love that.
apart. Don't let it get you down. I
Mm-mm.
go, I always offer anybody wants to talk on the phone, I'll talk on the phone. I can't get your money back, but I can be your biggest cheerleader. I can
Mhm.
make you laugh and I can remind you what a phenomenal person you are. And I
Mhm.
think sometimes because that's who they hit, these scammers hit the vulnerable women, the
Yep.
widows, the one who
Mhm.
looks like they couldn't get a man. I always laugh because I'm thinking, dude, if you think I'm lonely, you do not know me.
I love that.
But I play the lonely lady, when I'm talking to
Mhm.
them. But, I mean, I've just met so many phenomenal women on TikTok who are nice enough to share their stories with me, and, I do it about 3 nights a week. I couldn't last week because my Wi-Fi was down, and when I the one night Thursday, I did a video on my phone. I said, "Look, I haven't been on because my Wi-Fi's down. I'll be back." And I got back on Friday, and people were like, "We missed," because it was the previous
Aw.
weekend since I went on, and they were like, "We missed you. We thought something happened." And
Oh my
that's why I'm
gosh.
like, I better do the tell them about my Wi-Fi, and I will be back Friday night.
I
And
love this. I love well, I'll be on there Friday night, what time? I know it's, Central
oh
Time,
well, this
correct?
was last. Oh, I'll let you know. It was last Friday when I was able to get back on. Actually, after tonight, I'm gonna do a live.
Oh, cool.
um, but I'm like I said, I learn stuff from everybody else, and
Mhm.
I just share everything I know, and I the everybody is just so nice on there, and I
Mhm.
just made so many wonderful friends. I get like I said, I get lots of messages now, and sometimes I feel bad because somebody will post during the live, "Did you check my pictures that I sent you?" And I'm like, "I'm trying." I
Yeah.
just can't keep up with them sometimes,
Yeah. The people,
but
they'll
no,
be
it's
patient. And and
yeah, yeah,
and maybe if
but
that
it's
group if we could start that Facebook group or something, then that's
yes,
another way to share. I don't know the
yeah.
legalities of it. I don't know if you can or not. I mean, can you? I don't
You
know.
can make it a yeah, you can make it a private group and,
Okay.
by invitation. I belong to a Star Trek fan group with a bunch of ladies I've known for years, and it's a
Oh, that was
private
the
group,
other
so
reason? By the way, that was the other reason I had to contact you. I'm a total sci-fi nerd.
oh my
Sci-fi
god,
and
did you
fantasy
watch
nerd and a
Picard?
gamer. So what's that?
Yeah. Did you watch Picard season 3
I have not.
on Paramount? Oh, okay.
I
Season 1
because
and 2 were great.
I stopped all these, like,
Okay.
prescriptions or
Yeah.
subscriptions. Those I haven't
Oh, so yeah,
stopped.
I
Subscriptions.
got I got rid of all my movie channels so I could keep all my
Yeah.
streaming.
I'm just kinda, like, picking and choosing. I'll do one for 3 months because I see a show, but so, yeah,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
yeah, that was the other reason. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just
Oh,
thought,
no, no, no,
fellow
that's okay,
sci-fi
that's
fantasy
okay.
gamer nerd.
Oh, Age of Empires is my game, and it used to be
Okay.
Diablo 2, but I can't find it on Steam because my CDs don't work on Windows 10, so
Oh, well, yeah, Windows 10, gotta love that, yeah.
yeah, yeah, but I
So
was able to
ano
get one of them.
So are there of all of the sites, what do you think which ones besides oh, I mean, obviously, okay, Cupid's pretty bad, Plenty of Fish. I mean, when I say bad, I don't wanna get in trouble for, "Hey, sorry guys, you're not advertising with me though." So, but
Yeah,
which
yeah.
ones are the ones that you think? You think Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram is, well,
Worse, I'm talking about.
yeah, let me tell you a story.
Mhm.
There's tons of fake celebrities that have contacted me. I'm a huge Chris Evans fan, and I have had so many fake Chris Evans contact. I don't
Are they
even
stupid? How did they like, why would people think that you're gonna fall for that?
Um, it's I mean, I've had Chris Evans, Chris Pratt wanted a $40 iTunes card. I'm like, "Really? You're a Guardian of the Galaxy, dude." You
Wow,
know,
right.
Chris Evans, the fake Chris Evans. Actually, now I don't even play with it anymore because I posted enough of his stories. But it's
Yeah.
just all the stuff he says, and they want to get you like, you need a fan card to meet me, and it's $2,500.
Oh,
And
come on.
I play along. I'm like, oh sure, and then I have scammer signs that I made. Say, hi scammer, how's Nigeria?
Oh, I
Another
love
one,
it.
another one is Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror, and it says, "You got caught. How about that?" Because I
That's
was
awesome.
thinking of Sweet Transvestite, I think it
Yep.
was. So,
Yep.
but no, I have all kinds of fun things I do with these guys. I really mess with them.
Mhm.
Um, I play along. Like I said, if you read my blog, please know that that's not really Patsy talking. That's Suzanne. I
Mhm.
will play the game and then I come in for the takedown, as someone told me the one time that they like my takedowns.
Yeah. You're
And then
you're
the
you
audio,
that's your alter Suzanne's your alter ego.
yes, because like when I'm on my TikTok and I'll say, well, Suzanne's account, but then I feel like every time I have to explain, for those of you who don't know who Suzanne is, she's me, but that's who I go by.
Right.
And then I have like all my audio conversations on YouTube, but they're also on my blog, and then I
Mhm.
upload one every couple days on TikTok.
Okay.
Because I do voices and bad
Mhm.
accents.
Mhm.
Um, but so many of the ladies are like, "Oh no, we love it. We think it's great." The
It's
other night,
entertaining and informative all at once.
yes. The other night, one of the gals goes, "Well, you need to do an Irish one." And I said, "Well, I did an Irish one time." But then at that moment, I couldn't pull it out. I'm like, I can't remember. My mind
"Oh,
went
it's a wee
blank.
little lassie, I love your little pink hair, can you give me $3,000?"
Well, I kept thinking of the Irish Spring soap commercial.
I just think of, pink hearts, yellow moon, green clovers.
Yes.
Lucky
Yes.
Charms every single time. Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess
Oh,
I've gotten lucky as far as not, being scammed, like, not that I would allow myself to be scammed by
yeah.
money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only one time there was a guy that I was talking to, and he was from Texas, and he kept saying he was going to come out, and then I finally just ended it because I'm like, "You're married, whatever. I don't believe anything," and
Yeah.
just X'd him out. Too
Yeah.
good to
Well,
be true.
yeah. Well, the grammar and the way they write to you, is horrible. If
Yeah,
I was an English teacher, I think I'd be pulling my hair out or teaching them how to talk right.
yeah.
The other thing is the sweet talk. I do a thing on my podcast, and I did some on short TikTok videos earlier in the year before I did the others. It's called Scammer Sweet Talk, and I play soft music in the background, romantic music, and I read. And I'm telling you, when I read these, I am reading them for word to word, and
Yeah.
sometimes they don't make sense.
Oh my god, because they
But
don't
I
know
start,
how to, because they're from
yeah,
somewhere else, they're in then, close, somewhere other country or
yeah.
something, and they're trying to speak English, and wow.
Oh, but some of it is hilarious. That's the other thing I wanna do is I wanna pull the screenshots of all the scammer sweet talk and put it all like in a little thing, and
Well, you should
but
put it
I'll,
like, in the back of your book or something.
that's a good idea. I
Although
was
if it's
thinking
gonna be an
about
ebook,
that
then yeah.
too.
But for the
Yeah,
printed book, yeah, I would definitely do that, that'd be awesome.
yeah, yeah. So,
So, there's a lot of stuff for people to go through, online dating with Patsy.com. There's, obviously, you've got the YouTube channel, the podcast, you've got the TikTok, and I think that, you're creating this community, and maybe one day the scammers will be gone. I doubt it, but wouldn't that be lovely?
the one of the gals last week asked, "Do you think this will ever stop?" And not as long as social media is around,
Yeah,
and I don't want it to go away because I use it for a lot of stuff. But,
sure.
I just tell everybody you got to be cautious out there.
What is the, like, if so, let's say I go, okay, I'm going to go back on, forget Hinge, I'm not doing that one.
Mhm.
Um, and I decide I'm going to go on, I don't know, whatever site. Um, and what would be the things that you would say, okay, this is what you need to do, Judy?
Well, the first thing is if they send you a message and they
No, I mean, like,
start
what do
out,
I post?
oh,
Like, as my, like, first, let's start with a profile. What would you put on?
oh, well, my account, I do have an account on Plenty of Fish, but I use my pictures, but it's under Suzanne. But that in there, I list all the stuff I actually do like. Like, I
Okay.
like sports, I like movies, music, theater. Um, I'm trying to think what I have on there. But then I the one description which I thought was really cool was I put in there, now I have friends that I like to hang out with, and I know you will have friends that you hang out with. I'm not gonna be jealous of your friends when you need a boys' night out, and I don't want you to be jealous when I need a girls' night out. I just thought,
Mm.
not that I'm looking, but I just thought that would be something to, say, "Hey, look, I'm not glued to you, you're not glued to me. I don't like to be smothered, and, I like my time," you
Right.
know? So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing a legitimate, profile, just be honest,
Yeah, I agree.
um, I state in mine, I'm a liberal,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, oh,
that's
yeah, me
just
too.
I'm like, "That's me," but I don't really talk politics with anybody,
Right.
but you're not gonna change me, and I'm not gonna change you. But
Mm-mm.
I mean, I'm very honest, and I wanna say blunt, that might be too harsh of a word, but just be
No, you
honest,
have to be
you
honest.
know?
And you know what one of the things I was very very like I changed my son puts on one thing and I go, "Oh, come on." And I put on there, "If you're an effing dot 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 scammer, you will be, and I said, "I will definitely report you."
Yeah,
I use CaseNet. If you're not serious about really meeting someone, if you're full of crap, do
yeah,
not contact me. I mean, I really was in bold. And this one guy went out with him a couple times. He was okay, but he actually said to me, "Look, I if have you looked me up on CaseNet yet?" And I said, "Not yet, but I was about to." Because you will see, I had a DUI. I 10 years ago. I quit drinking 10 years ago. I gave the guy a chance. He was honest. We just didn't get along that good, but that happens. But I was
yeah,
actually really impressed that he said that, and like how many guys would say that? So, yeah, I think you're right. Honesty
yeah.
and now, okay, so now you've got your profile up. Um, and the one thing I will say about Hinge that I did like was that they couldn't pick you; you had to pick them first.
I think that's how Bumble is too, is that one where the
Yeah, I
lady.
didn't have. Yeah, I didn't have a
Yeah,
good. Bumble didn't do me well at all.
yeah.
So
Well,
Hinge,
I
I
heard
met more.
stories there were scammers on there too, so,
Everywhere,
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
So now, okay, now you like somebody. Now, what are some of the just I know it's sweet talk, but what are other some little red flags maybe somebody would not know?
I notice on Plenty of Fish and at Match.com, I put I'm from St. Louis. I want somebody from St. Louis.
Of
Also,
course.
put that in your profile.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll get all these guys, well, "Oh, I'm in the military," and, "Oh, I'm from St. Louis." "Oh, well, what part of St. Louis did you grow up in?" I
Mhm.
lie and say, "Oh, I'm in Ladue. Where are you?"
Mhm.
And they can't
Oh,
always
yeah.
answer that.
Right.
Or the famous St. Louis question, "What
What
high
high
school did you
school?
go?"
Yeah.
And I had one guy, "Oh, well, I didn't go to high school there. I went to high school in New York." Okay, whatever.
Oh, mhm.
Um, Let me think.
I noticed on Hinge a lot of pilots. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Right, pilots,
yeah,
uh-huh.
yeah. Really,
Sure."
some of the ones that like story scammer use, I'll run through these real quick. Oil rig workers, they'll say they're
Huh.
on an oil. They'll even post pictures being on the oil rig. I don't know if they're
Somewhere
really
they
on it.
found them. Right.
Yeah, deployed military, which we all know. Fake celebrities, oh yeah, doctors, United Nation employees, and any profession with a reason to travel. So, well,
Hmm.
like you said, when you get a message from somebody, first off, if it's a term of endearment, to me, that's a red flag.
Right.
Because none of the guys I know is going to send a note to a lady that they don't know. Hi, pretty. Hi, beautiful. It'll be more like a hey or something like that.
Yep. Yep.
Then, of course, look at the way they type, the grammar.
Mhm.
Although I am guilty because I use the voice recognition a lot and I
Mhm.
don't always proofread it. And my responses back sometimes are like, I could be a scammer because none of
Right.
my stuff makes sense. So I
Right.
have got to learn, I'm learning, getting better at it of proofing it before I send it.
Uh-huh.
Um, I mean, if they don't want to talk to you on the phone right away or meet right away, what's the point of stringing you
That's how
along?
I am. I
You
hate
know?
that. Yeah, I'm the same way. And I even said
Yeah,
that in my bio. I said, "Look, I didn't say what I did. I didn't because,
yeah,
the minute you say that, oh great, they're going to listen or whatever." Um and no, I said I don't want to chit chat on here. Let's just, talk or meet somewhere
yeah,
for coffee. We know right away, boom.
right.
Interestingly enough, another side of it was I met a gentleman, very nice guy, and he did wanna go on a second date, but I wasn't interested. But he was very nice, and he was so freaked out because I was late and we were meeting it somewhere, and I was really late. I kept, I'm using my burner app, which is really hard to text from, and,
Yeah.
um, and he's going, he was starting to get like when I finally got there, he goes, because I said, "Can you just come out? I can't find parking." And he didn't want to come out. And I couldn't understand. I go, "What a jerk." When I finally got in, he goes, "How do I know there wasn't some guy who was going to beat me up?" And I go, "Wow, I
Yeah.
guess so." Like he was smart,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because he goes, "What?
Yeah.
You're sitting there saying you can't find it." And I go, "Look, it's raining. My hair's getting all gross." It was funny, but it does go both ways. And he said,
Yeah.
he goes, "Well," he goes, you're, on TV and you're this, da, 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 da," and then, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Now
understood that.
I don't have a burner phone, but I have an app number that I use, which is
Like a
called
Google
Text
has a
Now.
Google.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's free. And
Mhm.
so whenever these guys, "Give me your number." Well, I'm not gonna give you my real number. I give you
No.
this one because if you punch it in to try to find it, you're not gonna find anything,
Right. Right.
because it's that. So, but most of this guy the one thing I will tell you, dating sites and
Mhm.
other social media, once they wanna take you off that platform to, like, Google Chat or WhatsApp, that's another red flag because they
Oh,
don't.
WhatsApp?
Yeah, WhatsApp, that's another one. I don't join that one because it won't accept my app number, and I'm sure as
Mm.
heck not gonna put in my real number.
Right.
But that's just another platform. There's also Telegram and Wisdom, I think, and a couple others I can't remember. But you don't wanna move off of there because, the one video that I did a duet on TikTok talks about this, and basically, I guess they can't be tracked over there. But if you keep them on the main, like Instagram or Twitter, then I guess they can be monitored or whatever,
Sure.
but,
Oh, that's a
but
great tip, Patsy.
but yeah, don't ever leave the social if they say, "Oh, well, let's go over to Google Chat and talk." No, I'll stay here, and that's what I do. I tell them, "Oh, no, I'll stay here." Although sometimes I do go over to Google Chat, but most of the time I will be like, "No, let's stay here." Or like when I try to video chat them, I never show myself.
Mhm.
Um, when they are insistent that I show myself, I put on my Jason mask.
That's
And
awesome.
you'll see it in my videos that I
That's
have out there.
awesome.
But most of the time, I have my phone facing the ceiling so they can't see me,
Uh-huh.
and we'll chat, and I record it on my computer. I have a microphone I set up by my phone so that it'll pick up everything they say.
That's
And,
smart.
but yeah, and then I've got, like, noisemakers and toys and other stuff, but, I mean, I will talk to them, and on the rare occasion that they will show themselves, I'm able to snap a picture. So I
Mhm.
do have pictures of actual scammers on my blog.
Wow, I love
Those are
it.
that's another thing I show on TikTok. I'm like, "Hey, who wants to see the scammers?" And
Yeah.
yeah, show them or we have ones we call frequent flyers. Somebody came up with that name for me on there. I used to call them repeaters. These are guys whose pictures have been used on me over and over and over, but a different name every time.
Wow.
So,
They're the same ones that are the telemarketers, I'm telling you, I really believe it.
yes.
I
Well,
mean,
I
they're
just learned
scam.
something last week, and this is hilarious how I found it. I was binging on the Good Wife on
Mhm.
Paramount. And the one episode somebody was being scammed and they talked about the sucker list. And so I went out and Googled sucker list. And basically it's like any other company who would sell your information so they can send you junk mail. It's the sucker list is shared amongst other scammers and other
Wow.
organizations like that. Now, I haven't done enough research to see if I could find the sucker list. One of the
Yeah, and
ladies
how
on
do you get
TikTok.
off of it?
Yeah, and that yeah. Now there's been like CBS did a story, CNN, that was 2 that I saw, but I haven't had a chance to go and actually research it more. But Google sucker list and see what you find out and let me know.
Yeah. And
You
by the
know?
way, Patsy is doing this while she has another full-time job. So let's try and support her so that this can be her full-time job because we need you.
Yeah. I'm
We really
60, but I
do.
can't retire yet because I can't afford to.
You know what? A lot of us are in boats very similar, or
Yeah,
we
but I
just
mean,
have to work all the time.
I like my job. I'm actually home 3 days a week and 2 days in the office. So, that works out well, but, like, when I'm at home, I work till 3, and
Mhm.
it's like, as soon as I get off work, unplug the laptop, I'm automatically on doing this about 5, 10 after 3.
Wow. Yeah, it's a
So,
lot. It's
yeah.
a lot. And again, I love your passion and I love how just you're very, very what is the word? I don't wanna I don't think it's pesky, and I don't think
Enthusiastic?
it's
Oh,
enthusiastic, but when I say
yeah.
persistent, and I mean that in a such a positive way, there was a word I was using, and I couldn't remember it on my head because I thought, "Gosh, this is how, this is how successful people they work, and they work, and they
I
continue
do.
to work, and you
I
do.
yeah.
You really
Because
do."
now I was interviewed twice by Channel 5 the last 6 years. The
Yay.
last one was, in November of 2020. PJ Randauer, they came to my house, and,
Wow.
we did it outside because of COVID and stuff, and
Right.
wonderful woman, absolutely wonderful, nice woman. She's the one who I was talking with her and I said, I've been taking podcast classes through the St. Louis Library online.
That's
And by
great.
the way, check out your library. They got so many awesome classes.
They really
Um,
do. Free.
yeah. It was free and it was like an hour a month, and they hit on different topics. And I was telling her, I really want to start a podcast about this. And she was just like, you have to, you
Yeah.
must. So
Yeah.
she was a big supporter. We exchanged a couple emails. I did a practice podcast and put it out on my Google Drive and gave her access. And then she gave me some great tips. And then she
Mhm.
took a job in Seattle.
Oh.
But
Oh.
she was a big supporter, and I'm forever grateful to her. And Pat McConnell was my first interview in
Oh, one of my good
2017.
friends. Yep,
He's
yep.
wonderful. I
He
follow him on
is such a good
Facebook,
guy.
and
Yeah,
I
what a
send
great
notes.
family he has too.
Yes, yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about our family and stuff
Yeah.
before the interview and after. So,
He's a good guy. He used to, do reports when I was over at the other station,
yeah, yeah.
but,
So, I
before I
mean,
came
I'm
to iHeart.
always sending stuff out, emailing. Let me ask you this question, Judy. I
Mhm,
trust your advice.
mhm.
I email all this stuff out, and maybe I should do this. I'm not shy or anything, but do I dare and say, "Hey, I would really love to be on your morning show. I think I have something important to say that will help." I mean, I don't want to be too aggressive, even though I would,
No, I think that you have to do that because no one's
yeah,
doing it for you. We don't, you don't
yeah,
have an agent, you don't have, so
yeah.
yes, you should,
Because
and,
after you emailed me, messaged me this morning, I gotta tell you, I just about died. I was texting everybody. I'm like, guess what?
aw.
Guess who contacted me?
Well, see,
I,
here's the great thing. By doing this, I'm
yeah,
gonna be able to get you on there and it's gonna live longer because I get to put it on the podcast. I get to put it on my
yeah,
socials and my YouTube and all this. And
super,
then
super.
and use some of it. I
Yeah.
do believe you have a recording on your end. If you want to use any on TikTok, go for it.
Oh,
Um,
I will, and I mean, when I am a guest on somebody's podcast, I share it everywhere too because I
yeah.
want people to I'll be talking about it on TikTok later tonight, so,
Oh, yay. Hey,
you
and
know
and and what if they say something like they're because some of those scammers can really look into you and find out about you, which is
Yeah,
kind of, for me, it's really scary.
yeah,
Um, like really scary. And if they listen to the show, they know what I'm into, and they'll say,
yeah,
"Hey, I'm a
yeah.
Libra. We're supposed to get along." I mean, that's kind of the sweet talk you talk
Yeah,
about, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and really, on the other social media apps, my identity is pretty hidden,
Mhm.
but on TikTok, I can't hide it because I'm
Right.
trying to actually reach the people that need to know all this information, and
Yeah.
that's what the whole thing is, it's getting out there, educating women and men. The other story, which is heartbreaking, and I've heard this from many, it's when someone is involved in an online scam and they're talking to this guy, they don't want to believe it when you tell them they're a scammer.
Oh,
It's
oh, that's
very
bad.
difficult. I get a message once in a while. I had a lady from church email me a couple years ago, and I said, "Well, this is what you tell her. I am happy to talk to her if you need be. I have done that twice, but that's the hard part is convincing them because, then they feel dumb and then they feel stupid, and it's like don't feel that way. And it's easier for me to say that because I've never been scammed, but I can just, I can sit and listen and I can
Yeah,
remind you that you're going to be okay and you're
yeah.
awesome. And, but that's another problem we run into. It's like, okay, how do you get them to stop? You know?
Well, it's the same as if your husband or wife is cheating on you and your
Yeah.
best friend knows it and you're like, "Nuh-uh."
Yeah.
Then you
Yeah.
find out, well,
That's a
they
good
were.
example.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, same
So,
thing. You
but yeah,
want
it's
it,
just
yeah.
getting the word out there. And, I give out free t-shirts that advertise my blog and podcast. So if
I still
anybody
have the
wants one,
hairband, still
I
have
sent
the
you all
t-shirts.
kinds of stuff.
Yes, I love that stuff. But if you love swag, yeah,
I got
and
lots. I
I
have a
gotta
Cricut machine, and I bought it specifically to do my T-shirts and stuff and hats, and then I started making other sweatshirts and selling those last year, especially in October and December, because I had some really cool Halloween sweatshirts and Christmas sweatshirts, but,
it'd be good if we could get, some made, and then eventually you get big enough where the women take pictures of themselves for these sites, and it says, "I don't get scammed thanks to online dating with Patsy," or something like that.
I'm stealing that.
Don't scam me. I
Yeah,
follow online,
yeah,
and then your pictures, and it's right there in your picture.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
like that.
always generate ideas. You can have it.
I love it. Well, no,
Yeah.
like I said, the book idea, someone really took it into a different direction for me, and that night, I don't think I could sleep. I was so excited.
Yeah. I think this is great, and, I hope this isn't the last I talk to you. Obviously, we'll do it again, and yeah, follow so TikTok,
Yeah,
YouTube,
yeah,
everywhere, it's all online dating with Patsy.com, and she
yeah,
needs your story. You got a good scammer story.
yeah.
We all need to share these.
And you don't have to use your real name. You can make up a name. I told them I'll make up names. I do want you have to tell me what state you're in, but if you're from the United States or wherever, just so people can get an idea. It's not just us, it's all over the world, you know.
That's just
So yeah, for
crazy.
TikTok, which is my big one, it's
Mhm.
just online dating with Patsy.
Okay, I
And
don't know if I follow you. If not, I will.
you must.
Okay, I will, definitely.
And
It
then
sounds
Twitter,
like,
yeah, and then
it's
Twitter
a
and Instagram are the same, it's Patsy Online Date.
okay,
And
good.
again, all this is on my blog, you can find all that information of where to find me, how to contact me, I have my email out there, I have a contact form, you know.
It's all there, and again, you're inspiring to me that
Thank
you
you.
do this really just to out of love, you do this from the
It's
kindness of your heart, and I really just wanna tell you thank you for keeping
oh,
doing it. It really means a lot.
I get a lot of that, and I just like, "Oh," you know, I this started out as a hobby. I'm a big fan of the movie Julie and Julia, and that's where my
I
inspiration to
love
start a
that movie.
blog.
Yeah.
Julie Powell died last fall, and
What?
she I think she had a heart attack, but she was also sick with COVID,
Oh my god,
and when
that's
I
so
saw that,
sad.
I bust into tears because,
Oh my gosh.
if you've seen the movie, she was so in awe of Julia Child.
Right.
I was so in awe of Julie Powell. So
Great,
it's like
great,
when she
yeah.
died, I was like, "I'm not gonna get to meet." I did send her husband because I found their address. I'm good at finding stuff. I did send him a sympathy card. Now, I never expected to hear back, but I wrote him telling him who I am. I was a big fan. I She was my inspiration to start a blog.
Wow.
And so when she passed away, I was really sad, you know.
She's
I got over
young.
it, but
Young
it was
too.
just that first night, it was just like, "What?" You
That's
know?
crazy.
So,
She was so young. That I still
yeah.
can't
She
I'm
was in
still
her
in shock.
40s, I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Oh,
yeah,
wow. Well,
yeah.
you know what? I love what you like I said, I love what you're doing, and, I can't wait to see you again. I love your pink hair.
Thank you. Well, see, I'm also the one lady who's kinda gives me a lot of advice on some of the stuff on TikTok, and, she's like, "You need, like, a catch thing, like the pink lady says." So, I'm
I like
trying to
it.
throw that in there, the pink lady, so
I love it. Anybody have any
yeah,
ideas, throw it out there. The pink lady
yeah,
says what she
yeah,
says. So, I mean, this is evolving into, and I really do believe that our lifetimes that we pick our little bodies to be in, big bodies, whatever bodies we are, the soul, it kind of what we're supposed to do. If you're doing what you're passionate about, you're supposed to be doing that. It finds
yeah,
you. And I think
yeah,
it found you, and you're just really sharing this with people. And it's an important thing to share.
yeah.
So
Thank you,
thank you.
thank you.
Yay. Well, I am excited, and I can't wait to talk to you again, Patsy. And I always
Yes,
end everything with namaste well.
thank you.
I love it.